that like a good intro? Hi, my name is Savannah, and you're watching Savannah Literati. I'm testing my intro out and I'm new. Give me grace. Give me grace. We're just gonna run with it, okay? I'm gonna sit here forever as a perfectionist. Last month was April, the start of spring, so I wanted to get into my spring vibe. I only read 3 books in April. Sorry. For anybody that was thinking I was gonna be one of those people that has about like 15 books stacked in the month, no. I have a job, okay? I have a 9 to 5. And I try to have a social life. I also try to have a healthy routine. I also try to work out. I also try to be responsible. So I can only read as fast as I can, okay? Please, my goal is to read 25 books for this entire year. I'm at book 11. Just give me grace. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, okay? Maybe one day I will get to the point where all I will do is just read, and that will be genuinely a fantastic life to live. But for now, I gotta pay bills. Let's start. So, funny story. This is one of the first books I finished in April. This is by Emily Henry. This is actually the very first Emily Henry book I have ever read. I have another one in there. I haven't touched it yet. I heard that this one was her best by far, but then she came out with a new one and people are saying that that's her best by far. So I guess she just keeps upping herself, which mad respect, because I'm trying to be like her. People were telling me that Emily Henry is an amazing romance author and that once I get on the train, I will never want to leave. And I was like, okay, sure. Let me actually see if that's for real, because you know how fandoms can be, and I fear that they were correct. I am staying on this train. Emily Henry, this is my first 5-star, I think, in the romance section. I loved it so much I did not want to finish it. That's how much I love this book. I genuinely was so sad knowing that I had to reach an end. The end was near. I didn't want to put it down, but I also didn't want to pick it up because it was good. Not because it was bad, but because it was good. 1, the characters are memorable, and that also includes the side characters. I really love when the author takes their time in really caring about the side characters. Animators back then used to really care about what was going on in the background, so they would edit the background characters to be doing something, so it was almost like a little Easter egg or like a little funny thing to see what the characters in the background were doing while the story was progressing in the front. She does a really good job at caring about the side characters just as much as the main character. I get it. Sometimes we want to read books where we know this is not going to really happen in real life, but we would love to fantasize about it. And I think that there's always room for that. But to make it the norm kind of pisses me off, because sometimes we need to remind ourselves that there's also beauty in realistic love. The guy genuinely felt like a real man, and the girl genuinely felt like a real woman. And that was such a beautiful, fresh breath of air, because too many times we just read books where, like, girl, just give it a break, loosen the stereotypes, like loosen the shackles that you guys have on these characters and just let them be normal, flawed people. This was real people. She writes real people. I'm 24 and I just want to know that love still exists afterwards. I'm so tired of this like young love thing, because it's like, why are we so afraid to get older? Why are we afraid to explore relationships when we're not in our prime, in our youth? And why do we keep acting like 30 is old? One of the groups where I like to read about romances of people that are older, because I want to see that life doesn't end at 18 or at 25. It shows you the complexity of a human, how something so small can be a big turning point for someone, and how we can get in our own way sometimes, all because of what we harbor inside of ourselves. It also shows you how beautiful it is to be human, how we make mistakes, but we all want the same thing, to be loved. Emily Henry showed this in every main character, even the villain ones. We all have shit to work through and we all just want to be loved, but we really have to believe in ourselves first. For my birthday, I went to a resort and this was my resort book. It's called Witch of the Wild Things. I found this in a local bookstore. I had genuinely zero idea about it. What hooked me was the springy cover and then witch. I love me witch, I love me spring, I love me wild. Okay, so I picked it up. I was not aware that this was going to be a romance, like a whimsical romance vibe, but I was here for it. I did not give this 5 stars. It was a pretty average book, but it was fun to read and it wasn't too difficult to get through while I was at a vacation where I just wanted to chill and not think and like turn off my brain and completely lounge. So it did what it needed to do. My review on this is 3.5 stars. I would recommend this as a spring cozy read book. It's very, you know, I wouldn't say it's super magical. I thought there was gonna be more magical, whimsical, like whimsy in it, and there wasn't. There was just a very few introductions here and there about characters' abilities, but there really wasn't exploration in that area, which was really disappointing because, hello, it's labeled as a whimsical romance, like a magical realism romance. It was a lot more realism romance than magical, but magic was introduced there. Even though I enjoyed it, I think there was a lot of loose ends. I think there was a lot of plot holes. I also felt like this story, I feel like this could have been longer. There should have been more information. Something more should have been explored and it wasn't. I was left with a lot more questions. I didn't really believe the ending where the man and the woman got together finally. I don't know, I just felt like there could have been more. Like this book is so short. There could have been like some more chapters in there. Why aren't there more chapters in here? This whole book, genuinely, the full review is like, I wish there could have been more. There should have been more. There could have been more. Better explanations, better wrap up, better conclusions, better details. It just felt like there was a solid idea and then the final execution just wasn't, like, it was just not a satisfying ending. There were certain sentences here that was so cringy and so weird that I just kind of had to skip these pages and continue with the story. The explicit scenes felt really weird and jarring. Like, there was a particular line that I can't say out loud that just made me feel really grossed out. If you want to find out what I was saying, you can go read my review on Fable. I describe in detail more what the issue is with that. Would I read this again? No. Would I recommend it? Probably not. But I will include it in my spring selection because it was a nice, fun spring book to read. April started out strong and then it just continued going downhill because this one I did not like. That's a lot of pancakes that they're eating. This is my first introduction to the Dream Harbor series by, what is it, Laura Gilmore? Yeah, by Laura Gilmore. And I did not like this book one bit. I gave this book 2.5 stars. Yeah, 2.5 stars. People say that her first book is really good. I think it's The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. It was her fall book. And you don't have to read them in order. It's recommended, but you don't really have to read them in order because they're standalone books. They're just in the same world, so you're gonna have reoccurring characters that if you do start in the beginning, you're gonna be like, oh, like they popped up again. This is my first introduction because I didn't want to read a fall book. I wanted to read something more springy, and this one was the most recent one called The Strawberry Patch Pancake House. The tropes is single sexy dad, nanny boss, pregnancy, and small town romance. Dream Harbor series is big on small town romances. I myself like Hallmark movies, so I understood what I was getting myself into. I wasn't expecting something good at all. If you want a Hallmark in a book, this is it. I don't know if the other books are like this, but if this is my first introduction to Dream Harbor, I generally don't know that much about it because, again, this book is so relationship heavy driven that I only know what the characters are like in the context of each other and what their surroundings are like in the context of each other. The reason relationship heavy driven books can be a problem is because the story just centers them at all times, so you don't really get to explore anything else about them, and that can conflict in getting to know your characters and getting to know the world and connecting with them a lot better. There are 38 chapters and an epilogue. This story could have wrapped up truly by chapter 25. Once I got to chapter 27 and 30, I felt like the same thing was happening just with explicit scenes, or, you know, a whole entire chapter was an explicit scene. When I saw there were 8 more to go after chapter 30, I started just completely like skimming, like fast reading. You really don't miss out on anything important. That's how much things repeat after chapter 25. Like, it keeps saying the same thing. The monologue is the same. The conflict is the same. The back and forth is the same. The misunderstanding is the same. Like, you just get this big chunk of the characters just not talking it out, and all they have to do is just talk it out. And that's my big problem. Like, if the issue only requires you to just end up talking to each other and that's the solution, why is this a big issue anyway? And maybe I'm just too mature, but we're grown. Why are you not just talking it out? Like, go to therapy. Characters don't stand out. Generally, I don't remember much about them. I actually don't even remember their names. That's how much they don't matter. These characters are such a copy and paste of every other character that we see in the romance genre that genuinely nothing stands out about them. The first half of the book did have me interested. The middle kind of kept up the pace, but like near the end, everything just fell off. It just became really boring. Like, the third act, there was nothing interested in it. It just kept dragging. This again follows a really predictable and cliche formula. I did put in here that this is a Hallmark-esque book, so I did understand what I was getting myself into. I just wish it wasn't as boring. Like, I understand what this book is meant to do, what it's for, what it's targeting, but I feel like you can also still write a good book, and I just don't think this was a good book. He accidentally got somebody pregnant. The woman never told him he had a child, and so then the woman dies, and so he comes back to that town and realizes, oh my god, I have to raise this kid on my own. And then that's where he meets the female main character. There's a lot of things that I wished was explored more. Like, again, this is so relationship driven that you don't see anything else. The male main character has a daughter, and we don't really get to see them alone. We don't get to see that exploration happening at all. We don't get to see the development. So I don't really care about the daughter. I don't really connect with anything in this world. The only thing that you can connect with is the two main characters because they're constantly in each other's space. That's all it is. If they're up that late every single night, how are they functioning normal? Like, some of the things happening here did not feel realistic. Like, I genuinely feel like all they had to do was just go to bed and stop eating that many pancakes. Like, there's no way you eat pancakes every single night and then have to eat breakfast again literally a few hours later because you're up till the AMs making pancakes. Like, you're gonna understand when you read this book, but there's just so much pancake eating on here that I was sick to my stomach, okay? The side characters generally have nothing going for them. They're just side characters. In the acknowledgements, you actually read that the author had a harder time writing this book because the pregnancy trope is something she's very unfamiliar with, and she also doesn't like adding children to her romances because, in her own words, they make it hard for her to write intimacy scenes. Just makes it a little bit more difficult. And I understand wanting to obviously try something out of your comfort zone and seeing how it's gonna work out, seeing what you can write with it, but also I just feel like she didn't try. She still didn't try, and I could tell that she didn't try. Or I don't know. I don't want to say that she didn't try, but you could just tell that she was very unfamiliar with how to navigate a relationship like this in this small town spicy romance world that she's building. You might as well just not have kept the kid, because the kid really didn't do anything. I'm sorry. You're gonna convince me and tell me that the kid had everything to do with helping the main characters come together. Sure, you can argue that, but then we didn't really see anything flourish from there. Like, it was just minor. Like, I feel like the daughter was supposed to be a subcategory of a main character, and yet she didn't feel entirely relevant. So this book was genuinely not the best. 2.5 stars. It's a Hallmark book, so that's why I'm not knocking it off too much, because it did what it's supposed to do. It's meant to be like a cute little cozy small town, typical cliche, predictable formula vibe. Like, if you just want a book where you can predict things and you don't have to like think too much about it, then yes, this is the category for you. I would recommend this to anybody. In fact, I would recommend the entire Dream Harbor series, and I haven't even read all of them, to somebody that just wants something to read that's easy, something that feels very Hallmark, something that feels very ooey gooey good. Yeah, sure, I would recommend this series, but is it a good book? No, and I think this is her worst by far. And this is the only book I've read, but the other reviews have shared that this is currently the worst by far, and the other ones were a little bit better. And I think just that goes to show that it's because she tried to write something that she was unfamiliar with, and not that that's bad, but at least if you're unfamiliar with something, start doing research and start going out of your way to care a lot more about what you're uncomfortable with, because it's gonna translate through the writing that you don't really know what to work with. 3 books that I read for April. The only book that I would recommend anybody to read if they're into contemporary romances is this one. I would actually recommend this book for anybody that wants to check out a small town spicy romance. This could be for you, especially if you do like the tropes, the single sexy dad, the nanny boss, and then also just be aware that there's pregnancy in here. This book, I'm not recommending. If you want to check it out, power to you. Let me know what you think. If you haven't read it, let me know what you think. I think the main male character in this book is kind of a red flag, but no one seems to talk about it. If you're interested as to why, just ask me, or just go to my Fable, because I actually kind of explain it. The girl's name is Raquel Vasquez Gilliland. I don't know. I love supporting Latina authors. I'm Latina myself. I just wish there was more. She has so much potential. It was really good. Until it wasn't. 3 books in April. My goal is to kind of read 5 books in May. I really want to crack down on my goal of 25 books, so fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. But hopefully for May, I have about like 5 books under my belt. I already finished one for May. I'm working through another one, so fingers crossed. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Yes, I'm gonna pull the whole old YouTube outro. Don't play with me, okay? Learn how to support. Come on. Yay! Okay, bye.